to Onesies, a podcast of one season, wonders and blunders. My name's Andrew.
And my name is Emily.
And we are working our way through the 1991 proto Hallmark Home Entertainment classic Dracula the series. We are on episode 5, Double Darkness, which really took a while to pay off as a title. Remember when we started this, I was like, are all of the titles going to be quotes from the book? No, they're not. Not
Nope.
at all. Nope. Too much to ask for from Dracula the series. So I liked this one more than you did.
Yeah, you did. I watched mine at work while you were in the comfort of your own home. So there were other possibilities. Other possibilities available to you.
Okay, so what are your 3 things?
My 3 things for this episode are creeping on older women, Lucard needs help, and a general question for the end of the episode. What did you learn about love and romance?
Okay.
What are your 3 things?
My 3 things will be business, Kermit the Frog at 10, and here, I'll do a question on mine too.
Okay.
Is Max getting better acting wise?
Okay.
Not going to spoil that for all of you.
Excellent.
Okay, so this episode opens with a startling scene. Gustav is out for a drive. He's got the top down. They're showing off their location shooting in Luxembourg. He drives past a couple people on bicycles, and I was like, do those people know they were an episode of Dracula series? How do they feel about that as they aged? Like, how do you live with that? But then he comes across another red car, which is also a convertible, but this is a sportier one. And there is some blonde lady in a leather skirt who's broken down, and he's going to help her. And he says he's on his way to his adventure club or something.
Something like that.
And then he goes over to look at the car, and he says, uh-oh, it's your distributor cap. And he tears it out.
Rips it out. Oh, my gosh.
Approaches her and fangs out. And then we get the opening titles.
He has a much better... He's very quick about ending the life of his victim.
Well, I was really worried that this was going to be Gustav's love life. Like, this was that's what the punchline was going to be, because it takes a while before this comes back in the episode.
Yes, it does.
Instead, we cut to the house after the credits, where Chris and Sophie, who do nothing this episode except check in on Max and Gustav for exposition dumps, and then are sent away to play together. So
yeah, seriously? I thought that was kind of weird. The whole last episode was about them dating, and then it's like, hey, you two go upstairs and play, and it's like, do you realize what you're doing? Those are teenagers who
they do it. They leave them to go, because there's the joke of when we get to the house while they're talking about 300 dead in South Africa at Lucard's gold mines, and then an oil tanker thing, and then a fire.
There are a lot of disasters going on inexplicably at Lucard Industries and around
Gustav
the world.
Is not fucking interested.
No.
He is in his... Max describes their outfits as 1927 Hardy's Boys outfits, which was one of the better. There are 2 pretty good pop culture deep cuts in this episode.
That was one of them. Yes,
that was one of them.
Yeah.
And so, but they're dressed up like old timey explorers, like it's Stanley and Livingston. And Gustav does not give a shit what's going on with Lucard Industries.
Not at all.
We were set up that Gustav was like working tirelessly to take down Dracula. He does not give a shit.
He does not give a shit in this episode.
Not a shit.
Yeah.
Which is good, because he could have ended the show by defeating Dracula this episode, because of all the shit that's going to happen to Dracula. off screen. But yeah, so they're going to. Sam says they're going to a bat cave. Gustav says it's not a bat cave; it's a scientific site, and we're getting a tour from Dr. Cross. And come on, Max, adventure awaits. Sophie and Chris use protection. So then we cut to Lucard Industries, and we've got a new establishing shot of the building, which I thought was very exciting.
Yes, you've been waiting. You've been waiting.
Obviously, we're all going to Luxembourg to see that building. Obviously.
Oh my God, we should make a map of location sites. Oh, that would be so cool.
Oh, we could just sell a guidebook. Okay, so Lucard's in a meeting with his flunky, who's actually credited as the CFO, which I'm like, well, no, because this has a very businessy business plot.
Yeah,
We're going to get into some business talk in a bit. But first, it's Lucard coming in, this guy in his fucking bow tie, because we're going to have a lot of bow ties again this episode.
Oh, yes, he was wearing a bow tie.
Sorry.
I couldn't tell if it was the same guy as before, Dr. Benedict or whatever. They all those white guys in bow ties kind of look alike.
But this guy's not a scientist. He's a CFO.
Oh, yeah.
And the other guy died.
Did he? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're not respecting the continuity.
I'm not.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? They've given me no reason to.
Wow. Yeah, well, on episode 18, when Sophie's mysteriously pregnant, we'll know that it was because of this episode.
She gets shipped off to Switzerland for a couple months.
Stop making me laugh.
Sorry.
Okay. So Dracula's like, get out of here. I've got a headache. And it's like, what were you fucking? Like,
they were going to fuck. Yeah.
They were going to fuck.
Yeah.
But not right now. And then Dracula's talking to himself, and he's upset about the business stuff.
Yeah, he's upset that all of his businesses are seemingly collapsing around him, or disasters are happening all over, and he's trying to figure out loud to himself why all of these horrible things are happening.
Yes.
And then he comes up with it. He knows exactly who's causing all of these disasters. And of course, I'm thinking, oh, well, it must be Uncle, what's his name? Uncle, Jesus Christ.
His nemesis, Van Helsing.
Yeah, it must be Uncle Helsing trying to destroy his thing. And we were left, I mean, this kind of went unnoted, but we were left with this, oh my God, Helsing is a vampire. Yes. After the opening thing. So it's like, oh, what's going on? But no, it is not. It is another famous vampire. He
hasn't revealed this yet.
Well, no, but he comes in.
Not yet. Don't spoil it. It's not another famous vampire, though. That's what the better part is. Yeah, because first we have to go to the bat cave that isn't a bat cave.
Oh, right.
That also isn't, they don't even have the full set of the discoveries.
No, they don't. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's
what a weird place.
There was a Roman ruin they got to shoot in.
Yeah,
and that because they're in Luxembourg. So Max and Gustav get out to the forest, and we get an establishing shot of this archaeological team of men in shorty shorts because it's 1990 in Europe. So,
heck yeah,
yeah. Doing a bunch of archaeology stuff, extra work, and then Sam, or not Sam. Who's Sam?
Who is Sam? Sam is from Freaks and Geeks.
Wow. Okay. This show would be better if Sam were in it. This show would be so much better if it were Sam and what's her face on their summer vacation hunting vampires.
I agree.
Especially given the love subplot.
Yeah.
Though I am saying that Sam looks like a 9-year-old.
Well, he's short. So they show up, and not Sam. Now you got Sam in my fucking brain. Max, kind of Sam backwards, if you think about it. Max is kind of grumpy and dragging his feet until he meets the beautiful scientist behind this. And I don't have her name pulled up right now. Shit. Why do I have Richard?
The character's name is Gloria Cross.
Gloria Cross. Dr. Cross. That's right.
But I couldn't understand Gustav when he said Dr. Cross, and I thought he said Dr. Croft, and I thought this was gonna be the origins of Tomb Raider.
Cool. That would be really cool,
It's
actually.
not though. It's
No,
really
it's not.
No.
So Dr. Gloria Cross, played by Laurie Patton, with a distinguished career in film and television.
Of the Canadian variety, mostly.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And Max is smitten, immediately smitten with this beautiful woman.
I've been waiting for you since I was 7.
In a very, very creepy way.
Over 3 years.
It's very creepy.
It's not even that creepy yet. It's gonna get so much.
It does get creepier, but just the way his physicality changes. I know that's the point, right? Now suddenly he's very interested in the caves and history and whatever, but it is real gross. Guys, don't get into anything seriously because your dick is hungry for some scientist pussy. I don't know.
I mean, realistically speaking, that's why 80% of men got into whatever field they got into. Like,
I don't know. Then how come there aren't? Well, never mind. And
because they're still men. They're still terrible, Emily. Like,
she takes them down to the caves and start showing them stuff.
Yeah. But first, Gustav has to wave away a fly. Okay. And now we get my favorite scene when they remember they were like, it's like Dracula meets Wall Street.
Yeah.
We've got Geordie Johnson with his Michael Douglas hair or whatever. Okay. Is that his name?
Yeah, Geordie Johnson.
Wow. Yep. It rhymes.
You're so good.
Okay. So I took the notes in out of order, but first we find out Mount Vesuvius went off and the CFO's back. So
yeah,
Dracula didn't have a headache, so they got to fuck and talk business. You've seen Wall Street?
I have not seen Wall Street.
Probably so bad. I haven't seen it. The last time it's so bad. Oliver Stone kind of sucks. I don't know if he needs the qualifier. He might just suck. Actually, Oliver Stone might just be at best middling and often terrible. Anyway, back on target, Emily.
Yes. I'm sorry, I just keep distracting you with talk of Oliver Stone.
Yes. Anyway, Costa Brava has nationalized all of Lucard's holdings there, so now he's in trouble. And Lucard bitches that back when he met Jennifer Riviera was just killing peasants in mud or something.
Yeah.
And then Vesuvius erupted, but only like a teeny little bit, and the only thing it destroyed was his villa.
Yes.
Which seems like an act of God. And I was actually expecting us to get a like religious talk of some kind, some acknowledgement of Dracula being in league with the Dark One. But no.
Instead, that's kind of weird. I have thoughts.
They can't talk about God.
Well, except the cross is something that he doesn't like.
Yeah, but they haven't gotten into. And the cross ranges in a bit. Like Max pulls out the cross later on, like it's, the sunlight gun, that it's like that effective, where other times it's just holding vampires at bay. Or
yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
Bad continuity. Let's get back into the continuity that we are about to learn. So then the CFO gets a phone call, and now the Tokyo Holding Company is under siege. And I was like, that's going to be crazy. It's like a Die Hard movie. And then it says by a corporate raider.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Dracula goes, who could be doing all this?
Yes, this is the reveal.
And we keep looking at the CFO, and I'm like, well, they would have just fucking told him on the phone, because if you were under siege by a corporate raider, you'd have at least some idea of who that was.
Yes.
But no.
You'd think.
Instead, we find out it's Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, folks. Famous vampire, apparently in this universe, enemy of Dracula.
Enemy of Dracula. Now, of course, Nosferatu is the whatever German word for vampire. and the famous 1920 whatever adaptation of Dracula, not a different character. Count Orlok is just supposed to be the Dracula. Like,
I didn't know that.
you didn't know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Maybe. I thought so. But anyway, no.
No, I keep continue.
Which bummed me out because I also thought Klaus was they were having like a squabble and Klaus was trying to screw him over, but no, it's Nosferatu.
It's Nosferatu, yeah. And he's really weird and
He's not there yet though.
he's not there yet. God damn it.
Come on, we got the Kermit the Frogs. So then we cut to back to the house where Chris is joking about how the what's his face? Sam, Smacks, Smacks,
Max.
Maz is being in love is just sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
And so shit.
I distracted you. I apologize.
You just sent me something very obscene, Emily.
I'm sorry. My
Good
husband is with us despite everything.
Virtually. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so Gustav is really weirdly being like, no, boy's first infatuation is a beautiful thing. Don't discourage him. And then
So gross.
Chris
So
is
gross.
like, what? And then he's like, well, like when you were 9 and proposed to your teacher. And Chris is embarrassed. And we're supposed to think it's like super cute or something. And I'm just, this is weird.
It's really weird. It is. I mean, yeah, it's weird. I understand being a young person, a child, and not understanding what love is and having an infatuation, but I don't understand encouraging that kind of behavior.
And
It's kind of creepy, especially when it's manifesting the way it is in Max.
we're gonna see it get really creepy in a second.
Yeah.
So, okay. So then we get Max coming downstairs in his outfit, and
What was that tie?
so Maximilian Maurice Townsend, MMT, on the scene. Chris has a funny line about what's the appropriate amount of ridicule to subject you to. And then Max is like, whatever, man, I look sweet. And Sophie,
but really,
in her only line, walks by and goes, you look like Kermit the Frog at 10.
But really, what was his tie?
I don't know.
I've never seen that before. It was like, folks, if you haven't seen the episode.
If you haven't seen the episode.
It was like it was like the knot of a tie, but a very wide.
A cravat.
It wasn't a cravat. That's not a cravat. Cravat is very loose and fluffy.
They're tight cravats. You can do a tight cravat.
It was ugly. It was purple. It was a pretty purple though.
The ties on this show suggest a costume designer tried to sabotage the show. Like the costumes in general suggest that. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make it look like a fucking high school play. Like it's great. Yeah. Okay, so then now we have not established why the lady's coming over. Gustav is wearing an apron, so that would suggest that he is cooking, right?
Yes,
and they're preparing for her as a guest.
Yeah.
So doorbell rings. It's the lady who brought flowers for Max, which is some fucking weird shit.
It is a woman in her 20s or 30s buying flowers for a 10-year-old boy.
They should have made a big reference.
Yes. They should have made a big reference.
Just a shockingly under, like, just some weird thing where she's just like, I wish you could find a magic amusement park thing, and then it's just like the scene's just like, wait, what? Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't wait till you're older. She strokes his cheek.
Big as fucked up, y'all.
Big as fucked up. I loved it when I was a kid, though. Oh, man.
Somebody really should have said at some point in time, if we did this with a girl, would we be publicly executed? And then it's like, yes, we would have. We probably shouldn't do it with a boy. Okay.
Hey, hey, I almost called you somebody else's name. Hey, Andrew, I got a great idea for a screenplay. Let's
Okay.
do big, but a gender swap.
Let's not. Let's not do that.
Oh, that's
Let's
so
not.
creepy.
Let's not do that.
Okay.
Um,
All right, fine.
I'm sure you could sell it to Elon Musk.
Well, I don't know. Harvey Weinstein's in the old prison for the rest of his life, so
Joss Whedon's trying to make a comeback again, so I'm
he'd
sure.
buy it.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Okay. Well, anyway, who owns that? That was that was Fox. Disney's got it now, so
Oh,
it's not like Warner Brothers would get desperate enough to do that, which they might. Anyway, back to the show.
back to the show.
We cut to the office where Emily is now going to tell you about the first appearance of Nosferatu.
So he's creepy. He's bleach blonde. So when I first saw him, my first point of reference was the Lost Boys, because he's kind of like 80s goth, bleach blonde hair. He's also like just mean. Like he really hates Lucard. He really hates Lucard. And he's doing, as we learned, he's discovering all of these, or we discover that he's doing all of these things to bring down Lucard's business empire. And he's played, and Lucard talks about it extensively, like really just like first thought theater, like I'm going to do this really bad thing and it's going to fuck up Lucard, but there's not like a strategy. He's played very stupidly, and Lucard really, really picks up on that and digs it in. And you finally, I mean, I guess we've been kind of rooting for Lucard all along to kill all these people, right? But you're finally kind of rooting for him because he's a little bit smarter. He's certainly more dashing and attractive, and seems to have I don't know. When your singular goal is to destroy somebody, you lose a lot of nuance, right? So Lucard seems to be very with it, whereas Nosferatu seems to be just kind of gross and stupid because he's single-mindedly just trying to bring Lucard down. That's my take on Lucard, and I'm sure, or on Nosferatu. I'm sure you're very thrilled by my very important take. He's dumb. He's ugly. He's everything that Lucard isn't.
He's not a better actor, though.
That's true.
I had that he's dressed like a what's his face in Blade Runner, Rutger Hauer. But yeah, Lost Boys. Yeah, they actually just have a bicker argument for about 4 minutes.
It's a verbal slap fight. Yeah.
But no, so I think what happened is Lucard locked him up after Nosferatu forgot to wake Hitler up on D-Day, which was a line.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So they bicker, and Nosferatu's like, well, I've already beaten you, so it doesn't even matter. And Lucard's like, what are you talking about? He's like, the markets in Tokyo, when they open, I'll own your company and you'll be ruined. And Lucard's like, ha ha ha, I called the Saudis and they're going to own my company for a day and then they're going to sell it back to me and everything's going to be fine.
Is that a real business thing? I don't know.
Think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't know why, because if he sold it to the Saudis, you can't sell it that fast either.
Yeah.
So, and also it would be completely devalued. So if he sold it to them for $1 and then they sold it back to him, why didn't he just sell it to, his fucking CFO?
Yeah.
Or something. Like that doesn't make any sense. Okay. So we missed the warp. We missed the new power. How do we miss the new power? So Nosferatu's got a stake with him and he's going to stake Dracula.
Right. Yeah.
And he attacks him. But then Dracula warps.
Yeah.
To the other side in blue quantum leap, but for $45 on a video editor, special effects.
Yeah, it's something.
And he rematerializes behind Nosferatu and he kicks his ass, and that's where he says the Holocaust thing. And then at the end, Nosferatu warps away too. So
Yeah.
this is now it's unclear if it's because when Nosferatu attacks him the first time, it seems like the warp could be some sort of Dracula's got a talisman like the cross or something, right? But instead, no, it's just an undiscovered vampire power that apparently only these two have, and Dracula has never used it any of the other times it would be convenient.
That being said, I can't think of another time it would have been convenient.
Well, I mean, he could have like zapped himself behind the guys when they had him cornered or something.
I don't know. Anyway, is this where we cut to that same outdoor restaurant cafe thing?
It's not the same outdoor restaurant.
Is it not?
This is on the lakefront or on the river.
Oh.
It's a romantic candlelit dinner.
So do vampires eat real food?
We don't know she's a vampire yet.
Oh.
And Gloria. And Max says, this is going as exactly as I planned. And you're like, what the fuck is this show about?
Yeah. Yeah, this is some...
Because at this point, Gustav's a fucking vampire, right?
Yeah, we still think that Gustav is a vampire.
Gustav could be a vampire. He could have turned Max. It could be about Gustav and Max turning a bunch of ladies all around this town while Sophie and Chris are upstairs fucking. Like, we don't know what this show is.
We don't know.
But then she says, can't we do something about your appearance? You know, like, you are a 10-year. It's a shame you're a 10-year. Oh, no, that's what she says. She says that first. She's like, I wish you weren't a 10-year-old boy. We're not in Florida.
That was really gross. So there's clearly something going on that is really gross or that we just haven't discovered yet.
Immediately we then get, can't we do something about your appearance?
Yes.
And Max saying, well, how about a 60-year-old? And fog appears and he turns into Gustav.
He turns into Gustav.
Is this better? And she's like, not much.
She's like, no.
Fuck yes, screw you. Whatever's going on, this is funny. Like, but then last transformation into Nosferatu.
Oh no. So she is courting a vampire, seemingly knowingly, because she is impressed by his appearance now, even though, well, whatever. You know, when you're a vampire, you gotta take what you can get, right?
And then they both fang out at each other.
Yeah.
And nobody notices them doing this in this fucking cafe.
Nope.
Nobody noticed because they were too busy on the goddamn phone calling up the cops, being like, so, like, this is weird. They're here and she got him flowers and, like, this is weird.
It is weird, to be fair.
So now we have established that Nosferatu is a shapeshifter and he references being a car mechanic as Gustav. So that was him in the first scene. Everything makes sense. All of our storylines are tied together now.
Except, where is the real Max?
He's at home because she came over for dinner and then she left to go out with fake Max.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I
didn't catch that. They
don't say it, but you've got to try to imagine that. Like,
I guess it makes sense. But I wasn't paying close enough attention, obviously, to notice that Gustav was making dinner when she first arrived.
Well, he was in Neighbor.
Yeah.
It looked like a Christmas.
Because,
tis the season.
Yeah.
Well, just think about it. Like, based on how we see Nosferatu's also got way too much information about these people. Like, he's been stalking Gustav and little kid for a while.
Yeah.
And also, now that we're talking about it, this would suggest that Nosferatu got her to invite Gustav to the site for the thing. Mm-hmm. So there's the whole plan we don't know about here.
Yeah.
But what you missed, what they didn't do, was this romantic walking scene from of Max and her to the restaurant, because they could have done that.
They could have. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad they didn't, because that would be even more gross.
Anyway. So then we come back to the house where they're cleaning again. They're cleaning. It's like we cut a scene about them needing to clean the house.
No, remember at the very, very beginning, we didn't mention it on the pod, but everyone had chores, but Max was too busy playing video games or I don't
Oh,
know, practicing vampire hunting. And so they all kind of were like, well, when are we going to get Max to be able to do stuff? But Max
oh,
is so happy after his date that now he's doing chores and stuff, trying to clean up the house. So when his adult girlfriend comes over, she's not, grossed out by a 10-year-old slob.
nope, that's at the end.
Oh.
Sorry. He's not helping, and Chris is whining, and
Oh,
Max
so
is
is this
sitting on the couch, and this is when Gustav comes over to have a special talk with him about the romance between a 10-year-old boy and a grown
right,
woman.
right. And that's where he goes and sends Sophie and Chris
Yeah.
up to have fuck.
Yeah, and he's like, be more like Chris and Sophie. They're the right age to go upstairs and fuck. And then he says because it's impossible for you and the grown woman. And then Max says, "You're just too old.
You
She
don't
feels the
understand.
same way.
You don't
You'll
understand.
see."
Nobody's ever felt this way in the history of history.
But this raises a question. We know that that's Max because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense if it's Nosferatu.
Right.
But the show really hasn't established that very well. Like, okay,
And also, they've introduced this idea that he's a shapeshifter, Nosferatu. He could be anybody in that house.
Yep.
Except, I guess there's that cross on the wall that would disintegrate him if he was in the house, even if he was a different shape, right? Presumably. So,
once he goes full vampire. Yeah. Well,
I always go full vampire.
okay. So then we cut back to the ruins where a limo is driving up and Max is biking out. For the rest of the episode, it's going to be very Goonies with Max on his bike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lucard is looking for the doctor. And
He is very taken by her beauty.
Or so he says.
Or so he says.
Yes. And she's receptive. So he drove out there and he's like, hey, man, thanks for your invitation to come out and take a look. I'm too fucking busy to come out and take a look. Why don't we do it tonight? And she's like, that would be great. Let's meet back here tonight.
But he did have time to get his limo driver, to get the car ready, to drive him out there, and then drive him back. I hated that. It seems like an awful big production.
Man about town. So Chris has been Max has been watching this from under a tree. And he yells to Gloria, but she doesn't hear him. She's a fucking vampire. She's got bad ears. She should have been able to hear him.
Yes.
Which would imply she's ignoring listening to him. And I'm like, are we going to kill Max? Please, 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 please kill Max. See, the thing is, I grew up on Voltron. Now, the first 5 episodes of Voltron, they have a different dude piloting one of the vehicles.
Okay.
He dies somewhere in the first 5 episodes. And then when it comes back, it's all about it. I think they replace him with a girl and stuff like that. And so it was like, early 80s, like nobody wants the girl, everybody wanted the boy figure. But what that established on a kid's cartoon is you can kill off a fucking main character early. And now, even though Max has got his credit for the whole thing, he become a vampire. What if he becomes a vampire?
I mean, isn't that the ultimate goal? Like, he loves vampires and he wants to hunt vampires, but wouldn't the ultimate goal be to become a vampire?
Well, his ultimate goal is not killing vampires, which we will see in a few moments.
I have a lot to say about that.
Okay.
Mostly no.
Okay. So yes, Max runs into the ruins and they really show off that they shot. They shot long enough on these ruins for all the guys in the shorts to leave the shot.
Yeah.
Runs in. I'm waiting for Nosferatu to grab him. I'm waiting for Girl to grab him. Nope. She's just gone. At this point, I realized we've never seen her dig site. No. This is just the Roman ruins that they say her dig site is beneath. We never get to see that.
Yeah.
Okay. But now Max is worried because Dracula's got them making the moves on his ladies. So he goes back home and he starts making some garlic powder water balloon bombs.
Yeah.
And this was where I said, is Max getting better? And while I would say this is his best performance in the show, no, he's not getting better.
No, he's not getting better, but he's getting smarter.
The performance in this scene, I could believe the guy making his MacGyver thing, right? Like, it seemed he wasn't terrible, and he's been terrible in lots of things before. Like, ask somebody where the stairs are. He can't handle it. He could handle this one scene. It's
Yeah.
going to go to shit, but he could handle this one scene.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he goes to the mirror and he says, checks his appearance and says, sweet. And this is where I made the note, biking out like it's the Goonies.
Yeah. I mean, he's on his bike an awful lot this last half of this episode. Do we ever cut back to the rest of the family? I don't think so.
Not until the end.
Yeah. So he hops on his bike again with his, is it holy water or is it just regular water?
It had holy water too? I thought it just had the balloons.
No, is it holy water in the balloons?
No, it's just
tap water. Okay.
No, it's not even water. It's just garlic powder and in a balloon that he blew up.
Oh, so then he can pop it and okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should
Okay.
see if that works for when your husband gets home. You'd be surprised.
I need to get some balloons. I'll have him pick some up at the store.
That's an amazing.
Can you pick up some balloons? Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. He gets watches you blow it up, measure it out, blow it up, and just throw it at him.
So he bikes up to the site again where Lucard is getting dropped off in his limo again, right?
No, we don't see the limo this time.
Oh.
Because she's waiting there for him. And he shows up in a white bow tie and cape, which
that cape, man. Oh
like,
boy.
Is that a Dracula 1931 reference? Like, did Lugosi ever do the white bow tie?
I don't know if he ever did a white bow tie, but he did a cape all the time, obviously. It's classic Dracula with a cape. And the two of them are talking. Max is this we totally skipped. Max is completely jealous because Lucard was hitting on her.
Well, he's also
the first
worried
meeting.
About her. He's worried.
Yes.
She doesn't know that she.
Yeah, but he's also jealous because Lucard was being smooth. And yes, obviously worried, which is why he armed himself with the garlic balloons. And I don't know how quickly the other two vampires, her, Gloria, and Nosferatu, descend on Lucard.
Okay.
Did I miss a whole lot?
You missed a whole lot. This is why I like this episode more than you did.
Yeah.
Obviously. All right. Yeah. So here's what happens. Gloria's waiting for him. He gets there and he startles her. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry I startled you. I'd never want to startle a valuable resource like you. And she's like, tee-hee-hee. And then he's like, I've always wanted an archaeologist on my staff. This will only take a moment. And bangs out. Max says, let her go, Lucard. Dracula in his makeup looks at him and says, not now, Maximilian, I'm busy.
Oh, right.
We also haven't talked about Jordy Johnson's still trying to do his accents this episode. Not as bad as last episode, but they're pretty bad. Okay. So, and Max says, no, or that's the woman I love.
Something like that, yeah.
And Dracula grabs him and picks him up and says, shouldn't you be asleep? But then we cut to a shot of Max biking over, running up to them and saying, hey, put me down. I mean, I'm over here, not over there. And Max and Dracula's
right.
Hey, there are two of you. And then the Max he's holding goes, of course not. I'm Nosferatu. With some assistance. And this is when we learn Gloria's got him. And she's got a stake. And Nosferatu's got a stake. And what's Max gonna do? And so then Dracula's like, Max, it's not fair. It's 2-on-1, Max.
Yes. This was a big no for me.
And
this whole thing was a big no. I mean, you can't be an evil vampire being in a situation where you're going to die and then ask for help from a vampire hunter to kill the other vampires. Like,
not fair. How many times has it been? The first time they met, it was Dracula's mansion of, like amusement park, haunted house, villains,
medieval torture devices.
Attacking the kids. Like, it's never been a fair fight. This is stupid. So Max goes, oh, just this once. And he gets out his garlic balloon. Dracula gets away, or he throws it. And then he gets the cross out and he goes, back, vampires, back into the night. Except it's really shitty. And that's where my note is, no, Max is not getting better.
No.
Okay. So Max could have thrown the garlic on all three of those fuckers. And then Dracula throws a stake and it hit Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
And he starts dying.
Turning blue. He starts turning
but
blue
he's
again.
turning blue in the exact same way as they teleport.
Yeah.
And then he and Gloria share a look, and then they didn't do a medium shot because they couldn't afford it. But then we see that she has embraced him and they have disintegrated into the blueness together.
Yes.
So then Max says, "Love sure is a funny thing." And then Dracula picks him up and is going to bite him, but they're just kidding. Dracula's going to give him a pass. We're even. And then it's like this, oh, it's kind of funny. Your uncle's going to be sad, worried about you. You better get home, little kid. And then don't forget to drive carefully. Be on the lookout for vampires. They're everywhere. And then he laughs at his own joke and looks like at the stake. And you're just like, did they cut another fucking scene? Because he's like, I didn't know it turned on teleport. Like, it's this really weird scene, and it's really bad.
Weird. Yeah.
But it suggest this weird ass show where Max is helping Dracula, but still helping Gustav against Dracula, except Gustav's not doing anything.
I would watch a show where a human boy who's a vampire hunter befriends a vampire and they just kill all the vampires together. I would watch that show.
That's what we do in the shadows, only
kinda.
Guillermo. Well, I'm just saying.
Kinda.
Okay.
I mean, a little kid. Guillermo's not a little kid.
Okay, so then we cut home, and Gustav is having a good laugh about how the archaeologist lady, who he previously said was fucking baller, and, put on his little shorty shorts to go see her dig site, he's having a laugh because she dug up Nosferatu and he fucking killed her. And Gustav just thinks it's hilarious. And
the end.
Chris and Sophie are talking about their hickeys. And this is where you get Max cleaning. Now you can talk about his dance and all that.
Yeah, he's dancing and everyone's like, whoa, what's up with him? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I don't have any music in these earphones, guys. I can hear everything you're saying. And ha 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 ha. And didn't we learn a lot about love? So what did you learn about love and romance, Andrew, from this episode? I didn't learn a lot. There wasn't like a coherent message in my in my estimation.
From Max's point of view? Well, that's the thing is, there's never a scene where Gloria's like, once he finds out she's a vampire, she's like, hold on, kid, I'll turn you in a second. It'll be fucking great. She just like hisses at him. Like, so we don't know. Gloria's a victim to like Max theoretically would have a more nuanced view of this than Gustav, who's just being a ghoul.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we don't know. I don't know what Max would have learned about this.
Yeah, it's weird.
Not as much as he would have learned as looking in Sophie and Chris's bedroom.
Yeah, peeping through the keyhole.
But love's a real pain in the neck. And if you're not careful, you get bitten by the love bug permanent. Zing.
Oh, God.
And then we cut to a hearse. And the driver is Gloria.
Gloria.
And she drives away, and because she just put a coffin in the back.
And it turns blue, right? Doesn't it?
It turns blue and it flies away because it's the auto car. They stole the auto car from Lucard Industries where he bought it because he's a big Auto Man fan.
Who isn't a big Auto Man fan?
Lucard's got all... Lucard, the reason Chuck Wagner is a lounge singer is because in this universe, Lucard funded it. Because he was so impressed by the singing in that country music episode, maybe.
I don't think he ever sang once on the show.
What is my last note? Richard Kiss. Is that...
No, one of the actors might be Richard
Liss. Yes, I was wondering who that was. Okay. That is the CFO.
Yes. Okay. Richard Liss, Lucard's CFO. My God, I
And
could not pick his face out of a crowd.
Dennis Forrest plays Nosferatu.
Yeah. That picture of him on IMDb is creepy.
Why does he have? Cliffhanger. He was the disfigured villain in Cliffhanger. And I was making fun of some of the other credits earlier.
I don't know why. What are your credits? What are your credits?
Exactly.
Jesus,
See,
mean. You're so mean.
If I'd been in head office, you'd be fucking hearing about it, Emily, all the time. When I was 7, I was in a Judge Reinhold movie. Changed my fucking legal name to head office's Andrew. Andrew, star of head office. Oh God! Like that little kid in Big, who's probably just spent the rest of his life in therapy.
Aw. So the next episode is we get Klaus coming back. Okay. Episode 6 is called Black Sheep. I bet Klaus is that black sheep. So Marguerite Wynne Davies, the muscle from previous episodes, Mr. Perfect. And
you're neglecting his ability to quote Shakespeare.
I'm sorry. I completely forgot. Hey, hi, kitty. You're the one that likes me. Hi, kitty. God, I have so much editing. Okay. So join us next week when we watch Dracula, the series, episode 6, The Black Sheep, 6 of 21. We will see you then. Thank you. Bye.